We already finished from explaining all of the key, let's say, processes that is involved in monitoring and controlling the project work. Now let's talk about also an important topic about project integration when monitoring and controlling the project progress. So project integration, monitoring and control is essential to ensure all of the project elements remains aligned with the strategic goals. By tracking the progress against the project management plans, teams can detect any deviations early and implement corrective actions if necessary. Keep the project on track. This process integrates multiple knowledge areas, making it central function in effective project governance. We already have explained these most of these ITTOs when we use the monitoring and controlling the project work. And to remind ourselves with some of these inputs include project management plan, including the project documents, as the risk register, the issue log, the assumption log, the lessons learned, and etc. So also had this work performance data, which is um, a raw data that has no, let's say, meaningful because does not compare any, let's say, baseline with the plan. So here we have the work performance data, also the EFFs and the OPAs. The most common tools and techniques that we already have discussed also is including the data analysis, the decision-making techniques, expert judgment, meetings, and trend and variance analysis. The outputs, on the other hand, we have the work performance report or performance information, where it compares the project plans with the, let's say, with the execution or with the work performance data to produce the work performance information or and work performance report. Also, some of these outputs include the change requests and sometimes updating the project management plan and documents. Um, we also have this corrective and preventive actions and project status report. So these are the key ITTOs that is we have already discussed during monitoring and controlling the project work. The monitor and control project work process, it involves collecting and analyzing the data to track the project performance. And these variants, the various tools like the trend analysis, the variance analysis, we have seen how to calculate the AVM for both of the costs, the schedule as well, and the expert judgment, which help to determine whether the project is progressing as planned or not. When we talked about tracking the project performance against the objectives, to ensure the project is progressing as planned, you as a project manager must track the key performance indicators, KPIs, across multiple domains. By using these tools where we have explained the AVM in terms of scope, in terms of, let's say, cost, and in terms of schedule, also the milestone analysis and control charts, these tools the teams can utilize and will result being proactively being able to identify also the risks and take corrective actions before they impact the project success. We looked at the scope performance to ensure the all of the deliverables meet the requirements. Also, we looked at the schedule performance and AVM formulas to track the progress against the baseline. If you recall the SPI or the schedule performance index, we already also have covered cost performance by managing the spendings, and we explained what is CPI or cost performance index or CV, which is cost variance compared to the earned value and the, let's say, the planned timeline and planned costs. We looked also about these quality metrics and how to monitor these quality metrics to measure the effects and rework rates and compliance. What else we have? We have the risk trends by evaluating and monitoring the emerging project risks. Also emphasizes the importance of monitoring the stakeholder satisfaction as part of the stakeholder engagement to ensure all of the alignment or to ensure the alignment with the stakeholder expectations. So these were the variances or the key variances that you as a project manager that you need to track also to identify these trends in the project work. And to start with the variance and trend analysis, which is critical to detect the project deviations early. And by tracking the differences between the planned and actual performance, project managers can take proactive corrective actions. And by that, this ensures the cost and the schedule and quality remains within, let's say, an acceptable limits. And in case if there's any deviation, then you need to follow the change request or the change control process, ensure that you rebase or you realign your project performance with the schedule and cost. We looked at the schedule variance, the SV, and the example here we have is, for example, in case that we have an activity were delayed by 10 days. So by understanding the schedule variance and seeing that there is a delay by 10 days, the corrective action you might take as a project manager is by adjusting the resources and maybe implementing these techniques like fast tracking or crashing the activities. One of these also variances we have looked at is the cost variance, which is the CV. An example here, in case that your project budget is over budget by 12%. And the corrective action that you need to take as a project manager is by identifying a cost saving, let's say, opportunities or measuring to reallocate these funds. Some of also these variances include the scope variances by, let's say, accounting. Say an example here, whereas an additional features were requested without approvals and without, let's say, a formal change request. Here you can take an action by implementing a change control process. What else we have? We have the risk trend and risk trend. An example here where you have, let's say, increasing defects rates and testing. The corrective action you might take here by strengthening the quality control measures. We looked also about, let's say, the work performance data versus the work performance report. So again, work performance data is the raw information which is collected from various project activities. It is processed and analyzed to create the work performance information and reports, which provide a meaningful insight to guide the project decision making. These reports helps the senior management and stakeholders to understand how the project is performing and whether any interventions are needed. Some of these common challenges that you might face when trying to integrate the project activities within monitoring and controlling process group. That includes inconstant data collection by not having a standardized or reporting formats, which leads to poor decision making. Also, one of these challenges is lack of real-time monitoring. It's by delaying or a delay in identifying any project risks and issues and not taking, let's say, a corrective action immediately. We have also one of these challenges where the, let's say, insufficient change management or there is no inefficient change management. That caused by poor handling of the change requests, which leads to uncontrolled scope changes and sometimes scope creep.